Hi, friends. Welcome back to episode 7 of the Stoked to Have You podcast. And as always, I'm stoked to have you. And I'm really stoked because today we have a special guest, my friend, Charlie Blumenthal. He's a personal trainer here in Chicago, a wonderful human. And today we're going to talk about the body, the brain, his personal journey, and music. I'm really excited. And we were also very lucky to get to record at this beautiful luxury private club that he works at called Beyond. It's along the Riverwalk. And we got to record in one of their rooms. It was just a delight. Everyone there, wonderful. And so, yeah, let's get into it. Without further ado, here's Charlie. Welcome.
Hello. Hi, Amy.
Oh my goodness. I'm so happy to have you.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Yes. So we've known each other for, oh my gosh.
Dude, I don't even know. I feel like it was pre-pandemic. It must have been pre-pandemic.
This is before you became a personal trainer.
Yes. I might have been coaching CrossFit, but I don't think I was personal training really.
I don't think you were coaching yet.
You're right. I wasn't coaching CrossFit.
You were going to go for firefighter.
Dude, I was a pupa.
You
I was a fetus, dude.
You just a baby.
And I met you through your favorite guest, Will Knight.
Yes.
Will is the bridge.
He is just
love Will.
Oh, we love Will.
Will is a ray of sunshine. I feel very fortunate to know Will.
So how did you meet were you at FFC?
No, I met Will at jiu-jitsu. And it's a funny story. I was what they call a spazzy white belt, which is an incredibly dangerous person to work with.
That's funny.
I was brand new to the sport, had no idea what I was doing. And I was relatively like fit and strong at the time, and there were like these kind of like crazy Eastern European dudes that like wanted to use me for like a practice dummy and would just attack me. So I was like constantly on my toes and like in defense mode. And so one day we were at practice and these guys were like kicking my ass, and then I got paired up with Will for a drill, and Will is in his 60s, lovely individual, is not trying to destroy anybody. He's trying to learn in jiu-jitsu. So I just start try to like absolutely bury Will, and he just goes, stop. And I pause and I'm like, okay. And then he goes, slow down, practice. And then we slowed down and we practiced, and then suddenly we both got a lot better. And then shortly after that, he invited me to a steak and whiskey night, and then I met Amy.
Yes. Oh, the classic steak and whiskeys.
Yeah.
The first time we rolled together, Will and I, he was being funny and put me in spider guard. And I was just floating above this 6-foot man, and I'm 5'3", and I just was like, I literally can't do anything. And he's like, got me by my hands.
Also, I don't think he's 6'. I think he's like 6'8". He's a tall boy.
I think he's like 6, maybe 6'5".
Yeah, it's a tall glass of water.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and then we became friends. We met at this whiskey and cigar night. And then the rest is history, dude. But you were going for firefighter at the time.
I don't know.
I was
entertaining the idea. I was trying to figure out what I was doing. I think that was a period of my life when I really didn't know. But fitness was starting to call my name a little bit. And
was that from the jiu-jitsu or prior?
It was. I got big into CrossFit. I was like drinking the Kool-Aid, like CrossFit cultist for a minute.
It's fun.
Oh, it was super fun, and it gave me community, and it gave me like really good mentorship, and it showed me that like fitness was an avenue I could pursue, and it would have returns, But then the world shut down because the pandemic happened. And so I kind of had to reevaluate. And then I was like, I had met a girl that I was dating around the time of the pandemic. So I was kind of just like chilling, not doing anything.
I mean, that's all of us.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
I don't know. Did you get laid off or like?
No, I didn't. I actually started working more. I started working for my dad. He's got a company on the south side of Chicago that he's had for like over 30 years now. We sell environmentally friendly, sustainable home goods.
I didn't realize you were from Chicago.
Yeah, dude. I'm a Chicago.
Wow.
Born and raised, baby.
I've known you forever. And I'm like,
Lincoln Square represent.
I don't know why I thought. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been here a whole life. And so I started working for my dad, as well as I was working at River Valley Farmer's Table, this farm to table brunch restaurant that our grocery service like totally ramped up because we were getting all these like fresh produce deliveries and people weren't going to grocery stores. So I was actually working a lot during that. And then I ramped up, started working for my dad. But it was kind of desk job, corporate style, and it wasn't fully jiving. And then I lost access to my gym because it closed and I wanted to build out a gym. So me and a buddy started investing in equipment. We bought a nice barbell, like 350 pounds of bumper plates, a pull-up bar, like all this shit.
Oh, that sounds so nice.
Dude, but then we didn't know where to put it. So I put out advertisements on Craigslist. And the advertisement said, does anybody have an insulated garage that me and my friend can come build a gym in? And in return, you get to use it. Like we were looking.
A great trade-off.
Right?
That's a solid trade-off for anyone who's like fit and wants to work out and just.
I thought it would have been awesome because we didn't know when the world was going to open up again. And I was like, I need a place to like lift weights because I was basically just doing like running and gymnastics or whatever. So we actually had a couple leads and they all kind of fell through. And then I have a friend of the family who has a pretty nice house and a garage. And I said, hey, Michael, can I build a gym in your garage? And he said, no. But you should meet my personal trainer. He owns a CrossFit gym in Edgewater. Maybe you can work out a deal with him or whatever. So that's when I met my former boss. And I said, hey, man, can I trade you this equipment for an L1 certification and a job? And he was like, yep. So I just gave him all my shit and got an L1 and I was working there a couple months later.
Oh my God, I didn't know this.
Yeah, that was the origin.
I love this saga so much already. It's amazing. Yeah. Okay. So what year is this when you get your L1?
So that would have been 2021, 2022.
Okay. So still like.
No, probably 2021, I guess. It was like pretty early in the
early in things opening up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what were your first clients like?
Well, it was CrossFit classes. I wasn't doing personal training. I was strictly coaching classes and like getting those reps in, which like I am so thankful for you. I think for that, like the ability to, take a room of 15 people and take them through complex barbell movements and calisthenics and gymnastics and all that stuff. It was just like a great way to like hone yourself and like learn how to coach, learn how to cue and all that. Like you just have to do it. You have to struggle a bit.
Oh yeah.
So, and then some of those clients or some of those members ended up seeking me out for personal training. So I started to dabble with that a little bit. I trained Will for a while. He became a personal training client of mine. And then eventually I was kind of seeking a change and my mom was like, you should go apply at like a high-end luxury club like Beyond, which is where we are sitting now. Yeah. So on my mother's advice, I applied to this luxury wellness club downtown.
It is beautiful, by the way.
It's pretty nice in here. It's cozy.
So cozy. Yeah. Like the vibe, it smells good. It appeals to all the senses.
Yeah.
Pretty. It smells nice. And everybody's friendly.
Yeah. Everyone here is.
And for a luxury place, like that's not always the case.
It is bizarre how authentic and awesome.
It's Chicago, I guess.
Chicago for sure. And also I think that this environment is, it really is wellness forward and like mental, physical, spiritual, like all the things it really values. So you get a crowd that also values that. And I've met some of the best people in my life at this place. It's totally changed my entire world being here. And so I have my mom to thank for that piece of advice. And I applied that day. Yeah, it turns out they have your best interest in mind. Turns out they're like a great resource. I got a call that day from my manager, Zach, and he was like, hey man, now's a great time for hiring. And the rest is history. So full-time personal trainer.
Wow. Yeah. And you've been here for?
Over 2 years, probably like 2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. But I do want to back it up.
Yeah.
So we're talking about your journey, your saga. And in the middle of this, you tore your meniscus. Tore it?
Yeah.
Or
I partially tore. The meniscus has been degrading for a while. It totally.
Was this from like an early
I think
athletic
there
thing?
was a there was a time in college when I got tackled by a friend in a drunken state, as these things tended to happen. And I remember it like kind of blew up that day, but like just kind of shook it off. It was no big deal. Then I retore it like the day the gyms opened up, like after the pandemic or whatever, like 2021.
Yeah.
I was like so jazzed to lift weights again. So I went in and I did a bunch of squat cleans, and I had the strength for
and
it.
You
but
were squatting heavy.
Yeah, pretty heavy, but it wasn't crazy heavy. I lost some. At that point, it wasn't, because I was out of the gym. Amy just gave me a look. No, seriously. At that time, it was pretty light, but I had lost mobility because I was not doing weightlifting for an entire year. And I think I sheared my meniscus then. And then I kind of rehabbed it and it got better. And then I got tossed around jiu-jitsu a little bit and that blew it up again. But then it really devolved actually like within a few months of me personal training professionally at Beyond. I was literally just in a half kneeling position. I was kneeling training a client, and my ankle was internally rotated in a bizarre way. And I moved. And the way my physical therapist described it, it's like ripping a piece of construction paper. And I developed what's called a bucket handle meniscus tear, which is a pretty big one. That's one that like you typically require surgical intervention to fix. But I rehabbed the fuck out of it, and I totally healed it. And I'm like golden. I'm squatting 400 pounds and we're groovy.
I know, I've seen you and I'm like, oh my God, look at him go. That's wild. I didn't know that you could even rehab a meniscus in that way.
Yeah.
Without surgery.
And to be honest, I don't actually know if the meniscus itself has healed.
Or if it's just everything around has become so solid.
I mean, that's basically what you have to do in rehab anyway, is just build up the muscle tissue surrounding that space and stabilize it. But it really seems like it's healed, because for about 8 months, it would do this thing where it would like leave its position and I would take my fingers and squish it back into place. Whoa. Totally pain-free, but it was just bizarre. And that has completely stopped happening. I don't even know that I'm injured.
Dude, body is amazing.
Body is crazy. And it also goes to show that like a lot of people would have taken a surgical route like immediately. And
it's true.
I've worked with so many people that
which can also be like such a setback, because if you aren't moving along with the recovery, like
Well, and shout out to my PT, because he told me, he was like, look, man, the moment you open that thing up, he goes, you're going to be dealing with that for the rest of your life. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. And I'm really happy that I took the conservative rehab approach before getting under the knife. And, you know, ultimately, I think there's a point where like, obviously you might have to go down that surgical intervention, but
like better later than now.
Yeah. And avoid it at all costs. And if you've exhausted all efforts and it doesn't work, then, you know, then entertain that. But yeah.
So are you focusing then? So you focus more on mobility and strength now.
Well, actually, really what fixed this was functional hypertrophy training. It was like basically bodybuilding / strength training, specifically utilizing movement patterns that are, you know, less isolation, more compound. So, you know, I have squats and single leg work and, you know, not really just doing leg extensions and hamstring curls, really just focusing on compound movements but a big emphasis on building muscle, like building the tissue. And what's cool is you can go light. So I was able to do that at a really light weight, and then slowly just brick by brick, build that strength back, build the muscle tissue back. Yeah. And, you know, it's a long road, but it's great. It totally worked.
I love that. Yeah. We were talking about this before we started, but like how movement is medicine. It really is.
In so many ways.
I mean, not being able to run, like mentally, I was like, I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
And then now that I've been cycling more and also walking more, which like has helped tremendously, but like
especially being outside. I mean, there's so many different contexts to movement too. Like there's like the training component. If you're in a group setting like a CrossFit gym or something like that, you're getting that community component to it. You know, if you're running or cycling, you are outside in the elements, which is amazing.
Honestly, even in the rain.
Yeah, totally. Oh,
put me out there.
It's a vibe.
It's so nice.
Throw on some good jams, dude.
I was just gonna say
dramatic run in the rain. Don't mind if I do. Yeah. Dance is a big one. I've been getting into that big this year. It's fucking awesome.
I had the craziest thing happen to me last weekend. So I was with 2 of my girlfriends. We went to Easy Bar, and then we were like, the vibes were cool, but they were just meh. And like the music was good, but we were like, we just really want to like dance without being spilled on. So we went to Revel Room.
That's a big ask.
I know. But we went to Revel Room.
Okay.
This is on a Saturday night. And I wish I could remember the DJ's name. I'll put it in the description. But so we get there. It's all Gen Z. And they're having a good time, though.
Yeah.
It's early 2000s
Wait,
music.
I'm Gen Z, right? What's Gen Z? I think I'm Gen Z.
Maybe?
29, like 97.
Oh, no, you're borderline.
Or no, Gen Z's after me.
Yeah, but you're borderline.
Okay.
Because, like, my sister's 98, but, like,
Okay.
she's very not
Like,
Gen Z.
okay.
Just like a touch.
Gotcha.
Just a touch.
a little splash. A cusp. A cusp, one might say.
Yes. So we're at Revel Room, and it's like 12:30. Everyone, like all the kids leave, which I'm like, they all go to bed early nowadays, and that's so weird to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're missing out. This DJ just played for the three of us.
Nice.
Dude, I've never danced so hard in my life.
I love that.
And it was all early 2000s. And he's from he was telling us he was born in like 86.
Okay.
So like all of us, same genre
Sure.
of music. And then just late 90s, early 2000s, hip hop, and then goes into like emo music. My little emo heart. It was so good.
That's amazing. Well, the fact that he catered to you guys and
Drenched.
like knew who he was playing for is like mark of a good DJ.
Yeah. And it was so much fun. And I was just like, and it was one of those things that like you forget to drink because you're just so into the dancing. We're all singing together. We're singing with the DJ. Yep. He gets it. And I wish my life was a musical sometimes. Which there are moments where I've had where like a whole room breaks out in song, but I wish that was all the time.
Yeah.
But this was kind of like that.
Well, the cool thing is, Amy, I feel like you get to decide to do that. Like,
I've done it.
You know, add music whenever and wherever you can and want. It's like the best.
It is. And so this is a perfect transition into your music because I'm so curious how this even started.
Oh man, that's a really good question. I think it started last summer. I mean, I've always loved music, but last summer really ramped up.
What's your music background?
Very musical family. Both my sisters are really adept musicians. One of them is a professional bluegrass fiddler. But I grew up like playing piano and stuff. But I kind of left it like during college. I stopped and music kind of took a back seat. And I really didn't even I liked it. I loved it, but it wasn't a constant staple in my life. And then last summer, I was going through a big change. It was after the end of a big relationship, and I was invited to a Fish concert.
I just got into Fish last year. That's funny. I had a friend. Oh my gosh, that exact weekend I got into Fish because my friend was in town to see them.
Holy shit. Yeah, those boys know how to boogie. They blew my mind. And I also weirdly had like never danced harder at a concert in my life. It was like I was like healed in ways that I didn't really know I needed to be healed. It was totally wild.
I love that.
Then I met a couple really good friends, some coworkers of mine, and we started going to some electronic shows. We started dabbling with the EDM a little bit more, and then I was like really like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing I've ever experienced in the world. And I was meeting people and I was connecting with people. And it's just some of the most like human moments I've had, and just intense and beautiful moments of human connection have happened at raves. I've started raving.
Musics.
Yeah.
Music.
It just started absolutely adding this layer of depth to my life that I had no idea existed. And then I think everyone in like the rave community has experienced that. That's why they keep doing it. It's just one big family. And then I had a client of mine, a good friend now, who I saw him like a couple days after New Year's Eve, which I was, at a rave till like 4 or 5 in the morning or something. And he asked me what I did on New Year's Eve, and I said, I went to a rave, and he like kind of lit up a little bit. And a come to find out, he was a name in like the early underground techno scene in like the early 90s, 2000s.
In Chicago?
In Chicago and possibly Detroit as well. I don't want to butcher his story, but I told him, I expressed to him, I was like, hey man, like I'm kind of interested in like maybe starting to make music or DJ or something. And he goes, dude. And then he told me the story about, you know, him being a big musician back in the day. He goes, I have all this equipment that is just sitting on a shelf. He took a different path. He's kind of left that behind, and now he's a farmer on South Side Chicago.
God, I love this.
Yeah, he grows flowers. And he was like, I have all this equipment just sitting on a shelf. He's like, I will pass this torch to you. Like you gotta take this and run with this. And I was like, okay. And
wow.
Sure enough, man, he came through, and my entire studio apartment is now a music production studio. And I have some of the coolest stuff that, you know, ordinarily I think the barrier to entry into getting into music production is really challenging. Like you got to rent equipment or you got to rent space. And this was all just given to me. And it meant a lot to this dude. There's like a lot of like emotional background to him doing this for me. And it meant so much for him to give this to me for me. And it gave me this purpose where I was like, all right, like this is like, I have to go for this. Like I have to give it a good solid effort.
Yeah.
Like I can't just like, you know, not use the stuff that this guy gave me. So I started doing it. And then one of my good buddies who has been in this, you know, rave scene with me since I got started. I said, hey Connery, I think you should do this with me. And he was like, okay. So now we're a duo, dude. We are phase 3, PHAS 3.
Ooh,
The E is a 3. So yeah, we started ramping up. Like, I mean, we've only been DJing for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So it's like brand new, but it's happening very quickly.
Yeah. You've like really, it shows that you've really gone into it. Cause like, I remember like the last time we had gotten food together with Will, our Jim.
Love.
That you were just talking about it and you're like, yeah, I think I'm going to get into it. I just got some equipment. And then here you are actually doing sets for people.
Yeah. It's been happening a little fast. It's been a little like completely, honestly, wildly overwhelming in like the best way.
Okay.
I mean, what a privilege to be overwhelmed by this. It's just the speed at which it's happening is kind of crazy. And we've been really bolstered up by an incredible network of people around us that love and support us and are like all about it, including this club. So we just did a set here on this Saturday and we went to, you know, the owners and we were like, hey, like we want to throw a little like daytime set out on the patio. And they were like, yeah, let it rip.
That's so cool.
It's awesome.
That's so, okay. So when you first started though, okay, actually back it up before that. So you have this idea. Did you doubt the idea? Were you like, I could do it, but this is like a saturated field. I can't do it.
No,
or was there any doubt?
Not 1 ounce. I wasn't going into it for like, I was just going into it for fun. I was just like, this just seems like it's going to, and I like
something.
And a creative muscle that I haven't used creativity in so long because I've been so focused on trying to build a stable career and like, you know, make enough money to survive and stuff like that. And once my survival needs were met and I was able to like not worry about, you know, how to pay rent or whatever, then I was like, this could fill this niche in my life that I've totally left behind since grade school, playing the piano. And sure enough, like the second I started playing around with this stuff, I was like, oh my God, there's a whole creative part of my brain that's been dormant for so long. And it's like, feels so cool to wake that up.
Wow.
It's incredible.
So, wow. That's really interesting because I feel like I talk to a lot of creatives and there is always this like hesitation to start something new. And I love, this is so refreshing because like, you're just like, no, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, but it makes sense that like when you're in survival mode of like, I need to be making money. I got to be doing this. It is hard to be creative.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I just need to figure out the next thing. And
not just the survival component to it, but I was truly happy and in love with my life prior to engaging in this. Like personal training has been, have you ever heard the term ikigai?
No.
Ikigai, I believe. It's a Japanese term for like finding your basically your career purpose. Like
yes.
what you should do.
Okay. I thought you were saying like icky guy. Like icky guy.
No, ikigai. No, although I'm sure you've experienced playing around. No, ikigai, the Japanese term for finding your like career passion. And it's like, I think it's like a 4-part Venn diagram basically. And one circle is what are you passionate about? The other circle is what are you good at? Another one is what pays you, and then what gives back to the world is the last one. And that little middle point, where the spheres overlap is ikigai, and that's how you like find your purpose. And I feel like I had already found that with training. I absolutely adored what I do. I had plenty of. I was like, I can be here forever, and hopefully I grow this into something bigger, but like I'm happy. Yeah. So this was just like an add-on. I was like, oh, this is just another cool thing I can throw on top of this. And now I'm like, oh wait, this might be the thing. This is really cool.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so okay. That's funny because before this, we were talking about I was putting together like very similar concept, but not ikigai. And now I'm going to definitely do that when I go home.
Ikigai rules, dude.
Because that's such a to find those components and then find the commonality makes so much sense.
Yeah, totally.
Wow. All right. So like, you've blown my mind with that, first off. So like, okay, where have you seen the like, any turbulence?
That's a really good question. I have a kind of a metaphor for the way this year has gone, which is it's felt like at times it's felt like I was in a river, and this life is taking me in directions that I never really thought I was going, and I have no control over it. But I'm also cool with that. I'm just like, all right, well, let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
So I guess now I kind of feel more like I'm surfing in the river. I'm kind of like starting to direct that course a little bit towards the people and the energy that I want to be around. So I guess where have I seen turbulence? I don't know if I have experienced turbulence yet.
Maybe, I mean, it sounds like you were like cruising and now you just have a better handle on it. So like that might have just been the turbulence.
That definitely, that was a turbulence. Definitely. I mean, I don't know. Keeping a curious mind has really helped because it's really just like it's been a fun and whimsical journey.
Yeah.
So it's like it hasn't really been that rocky. Although I'm sure that could change. I think things are just, it's been a lot of green lights lately, and it's just been kind of a good flow state.
I love that.
But I think personally had a lot more turbulent moments, maybe last summer, like coming off a relationship and trying to figure out who I was after that. And, grappled, had my own pitfalls, and definitely like made plenty of mistakes along the way. But again, I look back on that, I was like, I had to do that. That had to happen. I had to stumble. I had to,
figure it out.
And totally.
And I like that. The like trying different things. I know sometimes when things don't work out, people look at it as like, oh, that failed. But it's like, no, you learn what you like from what you don't like. Yeah. And that's so important.
And failure is like, does failure even exist? It's like every single time something fails, you just grow. It is just like
and being
fertilizer.
Fluid is like with that, you're just like, all right, didn't work out. That's cool. Next thing.
100%. There's so many different facets of life that falls into, and I think failure is a blessing. And if you can learn from that and grow from it, it's just a key ingredient.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And I love failing.
Yeah.
Like I've grown to like, oh, it didn't work out, or oh, this crappy thing happened. It's like, all right, well, that's all right. On to the next thing.
100%.
Like,
yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't have to define you at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, have you picked up piano?
I actually have a really cool keyboard back at my apartment. I'm running some tech issues right now. I'm troubleshooting it.
Tech issues with a piano?
It's a keyboard.
Or it's a keyboard
that only works with a specific type of computer software that is not mine. So keyboard is TBD. We're working on that. But we're going to bring it back. I can't wait to pick that up again. It's going to be really, really gratifying.
Because I know that, being able to do your own tones and like makes a huge difference with
Totally,
music.
100%. And just having that tactile feel of being able to control, the keys and sounds and the vibe. Because I feel like we use software, we use Ableton to make music now. And it's, you're inputting these notes on a screen, and you can do everything. I mean, you can customize how hard the notes hit. You can customize the softness of them. You can do all this crazy stuff. But I do think that there is a level of, I guess, nuance that you get from actually playing an instrument that when you can translate that into production, I think there's a
then you can bring
humanness
it in.
to it. Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Have you thought about like bringing in other instruments?
Oh, I mean, sky's the limit.
I was just going to say, I'm sure you're like a million miles an hour with ideas.
It's, again, one of these things that's totally overwhelming. It's like, oh my God, I want to do everything. And Connery, my DJ duo, he's a saxophone player, but again, left it in childhood, like stopped playing like maybe in high school or something. So we're trying to get him to dust off the old sax and, bring it in. But I mean, the answer is yes. And
that's
like
funny.
all the music, it's
you're inspiring me.
Aw.
Because I love music. I also come from a musical background of like, so my dad's a musician.
Oh, what does he do? What does he play?
Oh, he plays like everything.
Nice.
I would say his main instruments are piano and guitar.
Cool.
But he also plays bass. He's played the sax, drums. Like, I'm sure if I could give him any instrument, he'd figure it out.
Yeah.
He's one of those. But it's more of like a hobby. Never like wanted to make, too much noise with it. But,
sure.
but I tried dabbling when I was a kid. I found out that I am a lefty on the guitar by practicing righty and then being like, this just isn't working. And then I tried it and I was like, Dad, he's left-handed.
Whoa.
And I was like, what happened? I'm lefty. And he was like, oh, I didn't want you to be a lefty.
Oh, wait, are you lefty in other parts of your life or?
Every other part except writing.
Whoa.
Although I can write with my left.
That is so weird to me.
I know.
Like,
I mean, I don't think he did it on like purpose.
Sure.
Where he's like, she's showing signs of, but like, but when he bought my first guitar, I think I was like 11, and I remember playing it, but like things just wouldn't stick. And then I did it was a research paper on the brain and using like we do a lot of things with our dominant side. And like, but what if you actively did it with the other side? So like when you take your first step, it's like, what foot goes first? Things like that. And I learned a song on the guitar right-handed, and then I learned it left-handed, and I was like, Dad.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I play the ukulele now.
Oh,
but like
nice.
I play many instruments, but just like a little bit of each.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's kind of exactly how I was my entire life, kind of a jack of all trades musically, and never really mastered any of them, which is interesting because my sister became like just such a professional violinist. She's so good.
That's
However,
so cool.
Now she's kind of like your dad, where she's so musically proficient that she can pick up a mandolin, she can pick up a guitar, she can sing.
That's
like
so rad.
It's kind of crazy how like when you start really excelling in one of those spheres, all of a sudden the rest of them become way less intimidating because you know what it should sound like. It's like percussion is a big one that I'm really excited to start really learning more of too, because it's like the backbone of sound, It's a beat.
Oh, I actually, when I was a kid, I wanted to do the drums.
You give drummer vibes.
I would love to be a drummer.
This podcast isn't filmed, so you can't see Amy, but she looks like she would just destroy the drums.
I really want to get into it. I actually have a drum pad.
Oh.
And I did do a few drum lessons with my friend Luke. And then I bailed on it, and I regret that. And I can still, of course, pick it back up.
Bring it over. Let's make some music.
Okay. You know what? Yes, because I need to. But the first time I attempted this, my dad took me to like a guitar center or something, and they had drums. And he's like, I am not going to buy you drums unless you really know you want to play this. And it was the intimidation that kept me from doing it. And I think it still keeps me from doing it, which I'm like, but that's something I've worked on actually over this last year of like, fuck it. Yeah. Like just fuck it, do it.
Yeah.
And like, what's the worst that's going to happen?
That is a beautiful mantra.
Right?
I love that mantra.
Because I'm just like, what is going to happen?
There's
what is the
literally
worst
no
thing?
stakes.
Like, what, someone makes fun of me? I don't care.
No.
Like,
and no one worth your time and energy is going to make fun of you for.
But like, that's like the worst thing. It's like, I can think of.
Right.
So, but he took me to this guitar store and he was like, okay, try out these drums. I hit one. I went, doom. And I go, I can't do this. I go, nope, not for me. But really it was. And I was like, but I was just like so nervous. There's people around and I'm like, I don't know how to play it. And
well, and also as a child, I mean, and a young mind, like there's so many insecurities and, you know, you just don't know who you are yet and feel stable. And then, you get to a point where you do. And then you're like, fuck it.
Yeah,
let it rip.
I'm just going to try it.
Yeah.
I did make a song once with a friend of mine. So he has like all of the DJ equipment. And
this was recent, I feel like.
Yes, I did. I showed you.
Right after I saw you. Yeah.
Yes, it was so much fun. We literally hung out for like 5 or 6 hours and just like, he's very good at he knows like all the songs. He's like, give me 2 songs and I'll find like a song in the same key and we can kind of play around. And I was like, oh, cool. And we made this song. And like afterwards I was like, oh shit, like I'm missing the creativeness. So one thing I've actually been doing is writing. I love writing, but like writing music, not writing the music, writing the lyrics.
Cool.
So lyric writing.
Like poetry.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like to a tune. And how I'm recording now, I've been recording like the little ditties that I have in my head. And so I'll have to show you.
Amy, that's awesome.
It's like,
I love that.
It's feeding my inner child so much where I'm like, oh, and it's funny. I was in therapy and I was talking about this and like, and then all of the flashbacks came back when I was a kid. I used to do this where I would write lyrics. And what's also kind of funny, and this actually I'm just remembering, is my dad wanted to do lyrics. And I'm like, maybe it's also genetic.
Dude, it could be. That inner child shit is fucking crazy.
Dude.
I started dabbling with that lately as well, and that has really blown my mind a little bit.
Do these coincide?
Actually, I was at a concert where I kind of went deep. I was on a good dose of mushrooms as well, and it had done an inner child meditation that day, and I think the floodgates were just kind of open, and I looked at it, and it was like what felt like 10 years of therapy condensed into like an hour. I mean,
wow.
It was like,
that's intense.
Yeah. But I mean, and like in a really just like clear, and it was actually kind of light. Like it was just like, oh yeah, okay. That's not my fault. But just like sitting with it and kind of owning it. And then, seeing where these patterns come from and stuff. And it was one of the coolest things I've experienced in a minute.
Learning the patterns has changed my life.
Yeah.
Because being unaware of it, and then I had a tendency of having like, I would say negative patterns.
Sure.
And where I just wasn't catching it. And then I'd be like, well, why? Why is this happening to me? And have you heard of the like, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you?
Yes. Love it.
I love that mantra because it's like.
Beautiful mantra.
Yes. So I'm like, oh, like things aren't happening to me, they're happening for me. And like, maybe this negative thing keeps happening because it's like, I need to reflect. And then I reflect and I go, oh, it was me.
Yeah, it was me the whole time. Wait a second. I'm the asshole to myself?
Oh, no. And one of my practices from therapy was, she was like, I want you to put a picture of yourself on the background of your phone. And because I would think like, maybe I'd have a negative thought about myself or something. And then it was like, oh, imagine like you're saying it to the kid version of you, because that's ultimately like kind of where that stemmed from. Yeah. And I was like, oh, and now I'm not the background of my phone. Now it's like my cat, but, but having like a reminder of like, oh, I'm being mean to like the kid version of myself that's so vulnerable and susceptible to this. And it's like, because adult me, like if an adult came up to me and was like, oh, you're this, I'd be like, no, just no. But if I was like, and I would never be mean to a child, but like to my kid self, I was like, oh my God, I think I was, but subconsciously.
Yeah. Well, I think it's amazing how harsh we can be to ourselves and how we would never, ever speak to another human being that way, but somehow we justify it when it's self-directed. Yeah. And unpacking that is, it's an endless bucket, I feel like. And
then it's like, so you unpack it and then you have all this shit on the floor, but then you organize it and you go, oh, now I can recognize when I'm being mean.
Yeah.
Or when I'm like being like self-deprecating
Yeah.
or something. And I'm like, oh, and now that, it's funny. There was a comedian that talked about being funny and having this like, okay, so when somebody, like, say you're in a conversation, someone says something, and then a day later you're like, that would have been a great comeback.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he was talking about how like eventually you shorten that time in between somebody saying something and then you have the comeback.
Oh, interesting.
And that's how I view my feelings, I guess, or like the work I've done in therapy is I go, oh, I recognize the pattern. And there have been times where I go, oh, here's this, I do this thing, and then maybe it affects me a week later. And then I go, oh, I need to shorten that loop. Like I need to bring that space closer together.
That's
and then
a brilliant perspective.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that before.
Oh, well, take it.
I like it. Yeah.
But yeah, that like, oh, now I've learned the pattern. I can unlearn the behavior.
Yep.
And change the behavior, and then it's faster. So it's like, so the same with like the maybe like imposter syndrome. I struggle with that, although I struggle so much less with it.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing all of the like fruit that comes from just saying fuck it. Like,
Yeah.
And so, but I would catch myself so late and I'd be like, oh, I could have started this months ago, but I got in my head about it. And now I'm like, I get in my head and I go, wait a minute. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And that time is shortened and I'm like, and I have a podcast.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. That is amazing. And I think there's like just so much truth to just kind of like, I don't know, the ability to like look back on your own behavior and, you know, not beat yourself up about it, but also want to change that pattern is, I mean, even that I just feel like puts you just very high as a human, you know, and I think it's a place that a lot of people don't want to go to. No, very few people I think want to explore their own shit and the things that make them maybe not the best version of themselves at certain points because it's a very uncomfortable place to go. And
accountability.
It
sucks.
And it is an act of self-love that I think is so cool and attractive when people go there and like look at it. Like, I mean, my favorite people around me are very, very deeply flawed and imperfect people, but they own it and they try to do better. And it's just, to me, it's one of the coolest qualities in a person.
I like that you said it's an act of self-love because I never really thought about it like that, but it for sure is.
It's an investment. It's an investment in yourself. It's saying that like, hey, like, I know you're not perfect. I still love you and I still want you to do better, you know? And it's like exactly what you would tell a friend if they did something that you thought that, you know, they could be better at, you know? So yeah, I love that, Amy. That's a great, I just like that concept of shortening the loop a little bit too.
Yeah.
You know,
it's also like, I've noticed with a lot of, I try to be aware of like other people and the fact that like maybe I've worked on my shit or I'm aware of something, but like someone else isn't.
Yeah.
And I try to like, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but like I'll gentle parent them in a way, but not parent them. It's more of like, so for example, a lot of people are like, oh, you're right and I'm wrong.
Right.
And it's never about that. This is actually something I learned in coffee and I've taught like teams where I'm like, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about the collective goal.
Sure.
And like, what is our goal right now? Is it to like in coffee, it's like, you know, we're trying to serve something with a smile. We're trying to give an experience. And then in everyday life, it's like, if you're in an argument with someone, it's like, I'm trying to become aware of your feelings or I need you to become aware of mine. And like, it's not about who's right or wrong. You may have said this thing and it hurt my feelings, but I'm not saying you're the bad guy. I'm just saying this happened. And so like, oh, go on.
I was just gonna say, you seem like a great person to have an argument with because I don't think it would be an argument. I think it would be a discussion.
I've yelled probably once in the last 8 years of my life. Yeah. And like, it was ugly, but it was also like necessary, but it was, I don't know if it's ever necessary, but I don't believe in fighting because if it's like, if emotions are that heightened, I'm like, take a break.
Well, and
take a lap.
Yeah, and it's a lower vibration, and it's a lower form of communication, and
Well, it's like also brain wise, when you get angry, you're turning off brain receptors, and so then it's like then you're going to fight or flight. So it's like
right.
It's like I'm not even in control.
Yeah.
Oh, well, where is this from? The
jiu-jitsu thing. Because I've heard this too.
Maybe. What is it?
Well, this is like verbal jujitsu, right? It's like the second somebody elicits an emotional response from you in conflict, is basically the moment you have given them control over your emotions. So
mine was from Ted Lasso.
also great. Love Ted Lasso.
Where he's like, why control your emotions when you can let them control you? And he's being sarcastic.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, oh, that's so true. Like you think that like yelling is taking control. And like, I just learned this too from like adults in my childhood where I see them get emotional and it's like, that's terrifying. And you're just eliciting like fear. And it's like, that's not control.
Right.
Control is information.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned, at least as an adult, where I'm like, oh, if I can, like, have you ever noticed when someone starts getting emotional and I will literally like put my hand on their hand and be like, hey, we're on the same page.
Right.
Like, hey, we're same
like
goal.
You are safe here. Like I'm not
disarm.
Coming at you.
Don't worry. I'm not here to attack you. Like,
dude, there is an art to that, and I think that is a beautiful skill to develop that will pay off in dividends for the rest of your life. And if you become a parent as well, like I mean, the amount of parents you see just get emotionally charged like at children, and I'm like. Dude,
and I get it.
You know what?
It's like
I don't. So maybe I should shut up because I'm not a parent, and maybe when I am, I'll freak out. But I mean, honestly, though, you do see it a lot, and then you see amazing examples of parenthood where they do the opposite, where they, they give the child emotional space, whatever. They communicate with them in a healthier way, and again, this is all under optimal conditions, and I'm speaking from total naivety and lack of experience. But
oh yeah, it's funny. I was just telling a friend I love the why era of a child's life where they're like, why,
right?
Why? Because I am so like I just want to give information that
Sure.
I'm like, it's like, well, why do you do that? Oh, well, we do it because of this.
Sure.
Well, why? Well, I guess it's because of this. And then it makes me think, and I'm like, oh, and then they'll usually tire out before I do.
Right. Then you might be way more equipped for this than most then.
Well, so I think it comes from the inner child work that I've done, where it's like, how would you want to be, I guess, coddled in a certain situation? And it's like, because I've been in like where it's like, oh, this is really stressful.
Sure.
It's funny. When I was a kid, I had what they called stress-induced asthma.
Okay.
It was just panic attacks.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, as an adult, I remember my doctor being like, oh, we actually call those panic attacks now. And I was like, oh my God. I was just a little stressed.
Yeah, you're just freaking out.
And I would just, I'd be like, oh, and then all of a sudden I can't breathe.
Right.
I'm out.
Wow.
But like, how would I want to be handled in that situation where it's like, I'm stressed? And they were little things. Like one time it was hot and I got a panic attack because I was in a soccer game and my coach wasn't paying attention to me.
Yeah.
And I panicked and I was like, I need a sub. And then I was like, and then I just passed out.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, it was gnarly.
Damn.
Yeah. It's actually kind of funny though. My dad was at the game, but like the field's pretty big and he's on the complete other side. And he's talking with a buddy he ran into. And I guess the guy was like, oh, there's a girl that went down. And it was hot. It was like 98 degrees.
Yeah.
And it's summer in Chicago. So it's like, it's 98, but it's like 110.
Yeah.
And we're running. And yeah, I start passing out. They're trying to bring my inhaler. And my dad's like, oh no. And then he goes, oh God, that's mine. Like, I just remember like by the time I got to the sideline, he was there and he's like, how you doing, champ?
Oh. Hey, you gave it your all.
I'm a golden retriever too with like running, like with a ball, like I'll run until I die. I love it. I'm like,
just chase after it.
Yeah, I'm still like that. I love soccer.
Soccer's a crazy game, man.
Oh,
I mean, you're
so
just
good.
running your ass off. And
I know. That's how I got into long distance running.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, lose the ball, just keep going.
That's cool. That is super cool. I didn't know that.
But yeah, catering to your inner child, it's like so necessary. And I feel like, when you learn how to, like, what heightens your emotions, you're just also more aware of other people's and that empathy. God.
When I didn't know what that meant either. I didn't know what, like, I'd heard the term inner child before. And then I did this guided meditation where the instructor was like, literally just imagine your child, or imagine you as a child and imagine the emotions you were feeling back then. What were the negative emotions you were feeling back then? What was causing those negative emotions? And then just be with that child. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. And then throw a bunch of mushrooms on top of that. And then whoa.
Whoa. Dude, mushrooms.
Which I feel like we should talk about at some point because that is a quintessential part of
my journey too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been massively important. And
I'm like, do we have time to talk about it?
Do we have time to talk psychedelics? I don't know. We haven't gotten kicked out yet. We booked a room. Let's see what happens. Let's just go for it.
All right.
Mushrooms are awesome.
Mushrooms are life-changing.
Yeah.
The first time I had them, I found self-love.
Yeah.
Which was bananas because I thought I had it.
Right.
And I think I had this like, unconditional self-love is not easy. Especially like without mushrooms.
Well, you know what's weird is
or
that
something.
I experienced that too. It's just, it was like not, it was not even present in, like, I didn't even know what it was. But once I felt that, it never went away. It was like, and it was remarkably easy.
That's actually fascinating because when I felt it, it didn't go away. Okay. I like to describe mushrooms as like you're digging a trench. And when you say you're sitting down and the first time you ever grab a cup, you're digging a very shallow trench. Mushrooms, and then you grab a cup, it's a deeper trench. And like, so you're solidifying this like line, but if you don't practice it, it gets filled up.
Okay.
And so it's just an impression of a trench. It's not a trench anymore. And so like you're building these like habits, and the more you do them, the deeper it is, the more prevalent it's going to be in your life. And so for me, it was like, I just remember I cried and I was like, I feel love for the first time. Yeah. And then they tell you don't look in the mirror. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, I'm so adorable. And I remember being like, is this what I look like?
Yeah.
Because I always had this like, and not that I was always like, oh, I'm ugly, or like, I just I didn't look at mirrors, which is weird. But like, I would just, I go to the bathroom and I wash my hands and I leave. And like, I don't notice there's something on my face, or I don't notice that like, oh, maybe my hair is, I just didn't look. And then now I'm like, oh, you should look. Like, you could see yourself.
Yeah.
And so.
And you're a beautiful human.
Oh, thank you so much. And you too.
Thank you.
And like, and then it's also having that self-love. You're just like, I feel like you can also appreciate other humans.
Oh yeah. I mean, I felt a radical form of empathy that hasn't left since that. Like, I mean, you just come to the realization that we are all just so deeply connected. And, it's like, it's kind of weird too, because these values are like echoed in all major religious constructs too, but just kind of changed a little bit. They've been radically transformative for me. Have you heard that metaphor of, I got this from Michael Pollan, but it's like, if you imagine your life as a ski hill and you ski down that hill and you create 2 tracks in your skis. And like, that's like your ego. That's your operating system. That's who you are. That's your habits, your personality traits, your quirks, whatever. And throughout life, you go back up that chairlift and you go back down the ski hill, and it becomes very easy to hit those same tracks. And they get deeper and more entrenched in you, and you become, you. And psychedelics offer a fresh snowfall. And life is just completely yours, and you get to be whoever you want to be. Yeah. And that's been a big part of the music journey as well, as it's coincided with increased use of psychedelics, which has boosted creativity and all that. Which is cool.
Okay. Part 2 with Charlie.
Electric Boogaloo. We back, baby.
We are back after a minor intermission.
Yep. Pee break.
So, yeah, right. That's what happens when you're healthy, man.
Yeah, dude. I've been chugging water. Ice and water.
And coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so where we left off, you were talking about how psychedelics and music have now meshed in your life.
Well, it's ramped up the creativity. I mean, it's like, yeah, totally. I mean, it's been like a necessary ingredient, I feel like. And And it also has coincided with, going to shows and concerts and connecting with people around me. And
it's an alternative too to drinking. Like
for me, it's typically an additive, but yes.
But it's all, I mean, it can be both, but it's also
100%.
like, it's such a upper.
Yeah. I mean,
like it's such an up experience that.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal way to socialize. It's my favorite thing to do. And it has just again been this just thing that's just increased my capacity for connection with other people, which is why I've fallen in love with music, because that is what that has done. It's just, it's opened the door
together.
Yeah, 100%. And there's just so many just serendipitous, magical moments that I've had with the people around me during those circumstances that it's really, added a level of, I mean, for lack of a term, spirituality that is just like, you didn't even really know it was there. And then you're like, whoa, like, has this story already been written? Because this is just crazy. It's just nuts.
Well, it's like appreciation.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
a new layer of it.
And gratitude is also, it's another value that just shines through every single experience I've had with.
Gratitude's a great.
Psilocybin and people and just life, where it's just like, it is just there. There's just so much to be.
When was your first psilocybin experience?
First psilocybin experience was in college, but I was such a knucklehead back then. I really had no, I mean, literally, Amy, I was so dumb. Like, I've never been a dumber human being than when I was at that stage in my life, and which is why I didn't finish college.
I mean, your brain wasn't fully developed.
No.
You have that.
Yeah, I had a good reason to be dumb, but but I had experienced it. But I mean, I was using psychedelics in an incredibly reckless and dangerous way. I really had no idea what I was doing, and I had no idea what they could offer. I mean, I just thought it was another drug, and I was in an experimental phase of my life, so I was just kind of really just letting them rip. And I remember I had one very heavy experience on psychedelics in college that smacked me around a little bit, but it also showed me that I was like, oh, there's something here to be explored that is going to add some depth to life. And shortly after that, I dropped out of college. I got like 3 Ds my third semester. I was a physically and mentally very not healthy individual, like, 5-day benders, all the drugs, all the alcohol.
I didn't know this.
Oh yeah, this is like quintessential. This was like origin story.
Wow.
So it was the biggest like failure of my life, up until that point. So like my third semester, I got like 3 Ds, and my parents were like, "You're done," and I was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't fund this either." So I moved back home, and
I think that's when I met you.
Shortly after that, that, I found it still would have been a year or two after that, because I would have been 18, and I probably didn't meet you until I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
But the first thing I did when I got home was I started controlling the environment around me, like direct environment, meaning like my mental and physical health. So I started working out a lot. I was doing a ton of yoga as well. My mom I was eating home cooked food. So I was eating I wasn't living off tater tots and pizza and Bud Light anymore. So like literally my skin cleared up. Like I had like eczema in college, that went away. Just the circumstances in my immediate zone were better. But I was in a place in life where all of a sudden this entire path that was laid out for me throughout all of education was now gone. That didn't exist anymore. So it was like, what am I going to do? So I had a dumb job or whatever, like doing, silly sales or whatever. And it was in an office. I had no passion behind it, but it was something to do. But, I remembered that mushroom experience I had in college. So I ultimately grew my own.
Whoa.
And, my parents were totally cool with it. They were like, yeah, man, go for it. And so I grew my own mushrooms in my parents' basement. And one weekend they went out of town. And by this point I was probably 6 months after college. And I had drastically improved my mental and physical health. I was a lot happier. I was stable. I was healthier. Things were going better. I wasn't drinking because all my friends were still in college. So I just wasn't consuming alcohol, and everything was better. And I ate 4 grams of mushrooms in my parents' basement, and
wow, that's ballsy.
I changed the way my brain works. It was like life before that and life after that.
Was it like meeting yourself for the first time?
Yeah, it was learning to love myself for the first time. That's exactly what that was.
Wow.
And it gave me, like, again, empathy, gratitude, and then courage also to just be like, hey dude, like you have the answers, like go in.
Ooh.
You got the answers, like whatever you feel is right, like we'll lead you in that right direction. And I think the reason we're sitting here right now is because of that experience. I don't know where I'd be without that. So
wow.
yeah, and it made me super passionate about them, and I've always felt that, you know, for most people, not everyone, obviously, but I think there's a real need to unfold this stuff into society, and I think we're getting to the point where that conversation is happening a lot with people that are far more educated about it than me, and it's going to be really cool to see how they do unfold into society.
It's super beneficial,
and I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary for us to make it as a species. Yeah, you know, I mean,
well, I think about it too. It's like. This is my little stoner brain going off, but
yeah, let it rip. Stoked to see you. Stoked to have you.
Stoked to have you. So, but that, like humans, like we are meant to be doing hard shit, like traveling by foot, finding our own food, doing all these things and being alone.
Yeah.
And then like now it's like, okay, now we have phones and we have this and we have that. And even like back when we had just radio, it's like we have this stimuli that kind of takes away from us challenging ourselves. And like now we have less and less of that time that we're like alone and thinking. And like, so I love that. Like, at least for myself, like I take mushrooms. I mean, yeah, I take them and then I go have a fun time, but I'm not taking that much to go out for a concert.
Well, so many, I mean, totally radically different experience. I have not done that much since.
So
I mean,
when I did my guided one, I did 3.5 grams. Okay. And like, whoop,
yep.
Like, whoop.
That can get you there if you do the right, do the right ones.
Oh yeah. But like, yeah. So recreationally, it's, you know, it's a lot less, hopefully.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah. And then but when you have the intention of using them, it's like I am literally just sitting and being present and with myself and just letting my mind do its thing. And it's like without, like, because we don't do that often, it's like, I don't know, just we're doing ourselves such a disservice. So to do something and that can offer that.
Totally. And process emotions, have emotions, elicit emotional responses. I mean, that was a big thing for me. Like I had like a cathartic, like weeping session.
Same.
And I have a friend of mine that just did a massive mushroom ceremony and not ceremony. There wasn't a shaman or anything there. He was solo, but he, you know what I mean? With the same intentions of like doing this like mega therapeutic dose, and had a massive, you know, emotional response to it. And I think that is, I think especially dudes, we just suppress that stuff a lot. And it's probably societally, that's just how we were raised, whatever. And to kind of crack that open a little bit and allow yourself to feel all of that was like,
there's some weight off your shoulders.
Oh my God. Yeah. I felt 20 million pounds lighter. It was crazy.
So I actually struggle with that, with like letting out emotion.
Yeah.
I didn't for a while and then I did. And then it was actually, when I had taken mushrooms that like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The cry session that I had. And I had an apartment with two people on either side. And I'm like, I wonder, I hope they weren't home.
Right.
I did it during the day though. So hopefully they weren't.
Yeah.
But to like let it out and like a howl, like it was...
cathartic.
So cathartic.
I love that you had that. That's awesome. That was somewhat recent too, right?
So that was 2024.
Okay. Yeah.
Or
a couple years ago.
Or was it the beginning of last year? Actually, no, it might have been the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Would you say that was one of the most like formative psychedelic experiences you've had?
So the first one I had, and I was like, oh my God, I love myself. Like, and this is what it feels like. And it's like being hugged by all of the energy in the world. Yes. And I was like, this is amazing.
That's beautiful.
And then but then after that I had to practice where there'd be moments of like self-doubt and this, and I'd be like, come back to that sense. And like,
so the integration is a big thing that I think a lot of people miss. And it can, I mean, these things are amazing. They have the potential to be great tools, but it's like if you don't do the work after.
If you don't do the work.
And I think you also do see that a lot. And you see that in, you know, the psychedelic community where it's like, all right, man, like you're, you know, throwing all these crazy drugs at you. You're doing ayahuasca 30 times, but like, why do you keep going back to it? Like, why are your relationships still struggling? Why are you being unkind? Like, you know?
And like, so before I did my big trip, I wanted to do it 2 years prior. And I had gone to therapy. This is right after losing my cousin, losing my cat, and having trauma in my relationship. And I was just at such a low point. And then I got into therapy. And I remember a friend of mine had done it. She did with a guided trip with psilocybin. And she was like, she didn't have the best experience.
Sure.
I think she took some things from it, but not, I don't think she wanted to do it. And like to do it and not want to do it, maybe that's the...
I think rule number one is you need to want, not only do you need to want to do it, but you need to want to change.
Yes.
And if those intentions aren't there, then it is not a good play.
I think hers was scary.
Yeah.
And so like, which, hey, that can happen.
Yeah. And you know what? I also maintain like there should be some fear going into it. Like, and I think fear is an appropriate response, and it's okay to have a little bit of that. And I think
creating a safe space is so important.
And also in order to have courage, like there needs to be some fear. Like if you're taking like a kind of a heroic leap, like it's not coming from a place of comfort, you know, it's coming from a place of like, there's stakes here and I want to change this, and you know.
Oh, but yeah, I'm glad I didn't do it when I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any of the tools like that I needed. And when the stuff, it was all grief that came up.
Right.
And I had worked with my therapist for 2 years. And I remember when I brought it up to her again and I was like, I think I'm ready. And she's like, yes. She's like, let's talk about it before you do it. And then I talked with a friend she's a doctor and she does the guided trips.
Yeah.
And she was like, here's what you'll do. Like, here's, you want to create like a comfortable environment for yourself, have water, have fruit. She gave me music, which like, it was like music to stimulate the brain. And like, it was nice too, not to have music that I'm familiar with.
Sure.
Because I feel like then you can associate it with things. So it was new associations and like.
Interesting. Oh love
yeah.
That.
And
the playlist thing, would love to chat about that too, because
I still have it. I can send it to you.
I'd be very curious. There's a Johns Hopkins like playlist that researchers put together that was like designed for psilocybin trips.
Yes.
During mine, I listened to the Beatles' One album, which was the first album I was ever given as a child.
Ooh.
So talk about that inner child work. All that shit slapped me in the face. And I was like, oh my God, I love my mom.
I love that.
Yeah. But oh man, I mean, the set and setting thing you just brought light to is so true. And it's, for anyone listening to this that's exploring that.
I was so comfortable. I had like where I was in a neutral spine. My knees were up. Like I had basically a pillow fortress. Yeah. And it was just like laying on a cloud. Oh. But then I was blindfolded.
Ooh,
and
cool.
that was where it was like, it was wild because I couldn't attach my eyes to something and fixate. I was just left with my own imagination.
You were in the void, dude.
And I really went in it, like, I really wanted to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I was like asking, I had questions for the mushroom. So I'm like setting the intentions. I'm like, but also surrendering and being like, whatever comes up, I'm accepting.
Yep.
And it was just grief. And I was like, all right, we're in it. And I cried for an hour and a half. And I remember there was a moment where I was like, my brain was like, if you keep crying, you'll die. Like, because I couldn't breathe. I was so swollen in the face that I was like,
oh God. Oh my God, like, that is scary.
Yes. And then it was like, you're done.
Okay.
You're good. Like, you can now be done.
Whoa.
And then I was like, and I calmed down and I just like felt that gratitude where I was like, oh, I'm so thankful. I didn't know I needed that. Here's literally like years of pent up grief that just came out all at once.
Oh.
And it literally was like, I felt like 100 pounds lighter. Yeah. I was like, oh, I didn't realize I was carrying this.
It's like your soul is lighter.
Oh, yeah. And then it was just, and then I was like, oh, now I need a snack. Like,
yeah.
And then I went danced for an hour and a half to Dua Lipa and Chapel Roan. And
fuck yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, Amy, thank you for sharing that. That is a beautiful, beautiful experience. And it explains a lot about you too.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And I got creative. And then I did that drawing.
My God. Okay. That is, all right. Amy did this fucking dope drawing and she showed it to me and I was like, Amy, I need that on my wall.
It's 3 skeletons. So in my grief, these are like the skeletons that I've grieved. And I was like, but it was beautiful because especially at that time in my life, I'd done a lot of backpacking and camping and like being around a fire is such a present place because you're sitting, you're just listening to the fire, you're staring into it, you're with people, it's just nice. You know, there's nothing.
So nice.
And you don't need to be anywhere. You're exactly where you need to be. And it's like, and so I have these characters in my life, like around the fire, and like they've moved on, but it's like, but they get to still, I don't know. I'm like, this is their afterlife, I guess. And Oscar was one of them. And I was just like, and I remember drawing it and then being like, I did it. I got it out. I like, and it was,
and now that painting is hanging on my wall next to my beat pad. Because I said, Amy, I need that on my art. So she sells mine on Etsy. Go check it out. I have a canvas of it. It's awesome.
Oh my God, I forgot.
It's one of my I love it. It's a dope piece of art. And I just love the context behind it too. It's just like,
at some point I might redraw it, but like, and then I'll just give it to you but I'm like, but it came out really cool. I like the fresh one,
dude. I like the sloppy mushroom one.
It really was.
It's cool.
Sloppy mushroom one. And it was.
But it's cool. It's great. And I love it.
Because it's so like, it's just, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's just, knowing the meaning behind it and like really what happened on the other side of that experience makes it even cooler. It makes me like it even more.
And then it's like, after that experience, I mean, I was changed. Yeah. I was like.
One time.
Yeah.
One experience. Terrence McKenna has a great quote. When you get the message, hang up the phone. And I haven't felt the need to go back to like a big dose.
So I've just started having that feeling.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I think I'm ready for another one. And because it's been like a little over, probably about 2 years then. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I think but I'm going to wait until I have my own space. Right now, I'm still staying at my mom's. So I'm like, I'm about to move. And I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. Yeah. But I was like, to settle in my own place, a new chapter. And like, because I didn't know I was going to stay in Chicago. I was thinking about moving elsewhere. Oh. And then I just like in the last 2 months was like, oh, I think I'm going to stay. Because I was like, oh, I'm just going to work until I figure it out. Nice. And then I might move somewhere. And then I was like, no, these are my people.
So on the note of optimism and life and being happy and all that, I feel like covered the psychedelics, covered fitness, which is like 2 huge ingredients, I think, or just exercise in general, movement, resistance, whatever. People is like everything, and the people around you. Yes. And that was also a big thing that I garnered from that psychedelic experience, which is that like the most important thing in my entire life is the love from my family and closest friends and the people around me. And like home is where your people are. And I love that you landed on staying in Chicago, because if this is where your people are, then like, hey, it's like if you can't find happiness here, it's not like you're going to go find it elsewhere where they're not.
Yeah. You know? And like living in Atlanta was really awesome. And I met really amazing people there. And not to say that those people that I met are my people, but it was like, I don't know, there's just an energy about Chicago where it's like, I can walk down the street and it's like, I'm feeling it with everybody. Yeah. Like almost everybody.
Well, Chicago just fucking rules, dude. This place is just such an incredible city. And granted, we are here in June and it's gorgeous outside, and we will speak differently about it next February, but we're going to kick that. We're going to kick that curb down the road. Right. Kick that can down the road. Yeah. But yeah, summertime shy vibes are unmatched.
And it really just like solidifies the appreciation. Like you need, I feel like I've talked about this before, but like you need summer and winter. Like you need the cold to appreciate the summer, and you need the summer to appreciate the cold.
I so agree, man. I really do feel like the seasons, I mean, exactly what you said. They just help you appreciate, the good times. Granted, I might try to sync up a couple tropical vacations in Chicago's worst months.
For sure.
But
I still appreciate it.
Yeah, totally. Well, and also I think it kind of taps into this kind of circadian rhythm that like at least I feel pretty in tune to right now, which is where like I kind of go in a hibernation mode in the winter and like go out less, restore myself. You reflect. Have you heard? There's a like. I remember this last New Year's. Everyone starts doing the resolutions, and I heard a take that was like, most non-European cultures celebrate the new year around the spring equinox. Ooh. And this concept of like a New Year's resolution is kind of unnatural for our circadian rhythm. on January 1st. If we're celebrating the New Year's on January 1st. So people on January 1st are like, all right, time to make all these changes, time to start going to the gym twice a day, like blah, 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 blah. When really you're kind of in a space and time when your body's like, yo, dude, like we're still chilling. Like we need to like lay low, you like restore yourself, recover. And it just logically syncs up. It makes a lot of sense to me that around the springtime, that's like, hey, now start getting after it, ramp up, bring some more energy into your life. And I feel it too, because in the summer, I'm like, I feel like I don't need as much sleep. Like I feel like I'm getting more sun. I have more energy. I'm like, it's a great time to like add on new projects and like really like kind of let myself get overwhelmed a little bit because I can handle it. And in the winter, I'm like, dude, I just want to lay low.
I just want to chill. I want to like do an inside task.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're just animals.
We are animals.
We're just animals.
We're animals that have built ourselves lives that try to convince ourselves that we're not animals. And then we remember that we are creatures.
I remind myself all the time. I think that's also something that like I've learned with psychedelics where I'm like, we're just at our base. We're just animals.
Yeah.
Like we act out like animals. We're hungry like animals. We need sleep. We need hibernation. Like we're just
all the things. It's crazy. It makes you wonder, how do we end up so different?
We have a conscience.
Why?
I don't know.
I am a big fan of the stoned ape theory.
Ooh,
hypothesis.
The
Apologies.
stoned ape theory.
Have you heard the stoned ape theory? Oh, fuck, Amy, this is legendary. Oh, dude, this is Mushrooms 101. Let's go. Oh, you're going to love this. So I think this was coined by Terence McKenna, who is like the godfather of psychedelic research. His brother is a big advocate and proponent for it as well. Paul Stamets, a mycologist, is like
you're really good at remembering names
as well. I like mushroom talk.
Yeah,
I like psychedelic talk. But the stoned ape hypothesis is essentially that during like early human-esque primate times when we were, on the African plains and, this weird point in evolution where we didn't quite have a consciousness yet. We were just these primates and we were figuring shit out. But we were hunter-gatherers. They had maybe learned to hunt and they were, these tribes, nomadic tribes would look for scat. They would look for poop on the ground and they would try to track an animal based on that. And what is a predominant fleshy mushroom that grows out of poop is Psilocybe cubensis, psychedelic mushrooms in that region. So the theory is that, these hungry people that were, hunting animals and tracking animals would see these mushrooms and they would eat them and be catapulted into these profound psychedelic experiences and be flooded with, visions of sacred geometry and feelings of like the ones we've described, empathy, courage, compassion, leadership qualities, things like that, inspiration, creativity, ideas like language, how to communicate better, how to be more human. And the ideas that this didn't just happen once or twice, but this happened thousands and thousands and thousands of times over millions and millions and millions of years. And through that, we kind of started evolving consciousness and what we know of as humanity today.
We created folds in our brain.
Boom. And you can go even further down the rabbit hole. Now, this is really, really woo, but like, who put those mushrooms there, dog?
Yeah,
like
right.
did like where'd those come from? And maybe they are kind of the seeds of humanity, which is why I feel like sometimes when I take mushrooms, I feel like even more human. I feel like it just kind of opens that up and
it's grounding.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like super grounding.
Fucking ultra human.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. That's why I think every member of Congress should have to take 5 grams of mushrooms before they authorize a drone strike on Yemen or something. I'm like, dude,
you need to really think about this.
Yeah.
We need your whole being thinking
dude,
about
anyone
this.
in charge of any nuclear warhead needs to have taken a heroic dose of mushrooms because what's probably going to happen is you're probably going to quit that fucking job.
Right? I should be on a boat.
You're like, dude, I should be having a margarita right now. This sucks.
I don't want to be doing this.
Yeah, no.
Like, guys,
totally.
Do you guys want to get tacos?
Well, and I think one could argue that's probably why, maybe those people in positions of power don't do this stuff or try to keep this stuff away from people because
the people who should be in power have done it and realize they don't want the power.
Right. Exactly.
Wow. I've never heard of that theory. That's fascinating.
Yeah. That's why we're in a fascinating moment of time
Yeah.
where I think the herd, like the way we're talking about psilocybin now is the way we talked about weed in 2016. Like 2016, people were like, hey,
Yeah.
I think this might be good for some people. Maybe we should, legalize this. And now you can get it at gas station. You can get it everywhere,
Yeah.
and
CBD, dude, like
for sure.
helped me get out of a deep, dark depression
Fuck yeah,
back
man.
in 2019.
Yep.
I didn't know that it could help. And I read an article and I was like, I will try fucking anything to not be sad like this.
Yeah.
And every day I would take it. And then I was like, I just had just enough energy to like move my body.
That's incredible.
And then every day move it a little more, move it a little more. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is the fucking key to life.
Amy, that might have been one of the only cases of hemp extract, CBD, being used for that purpose before that I've heard personally. That's actually really cool. I had no idea. I mean, because I used to sell, I used to work for a company that sold it, and most of the people we sold it to was for like inflammation or anxiety or like sleep or whatever. But I really haven't heard people use it for depression before. So that's really interesting to me.
Oh, dude, I was in a slump and I was like, and I was with a partner who I don't think knew how to handle that.
Sure.
And I was like, and when you tell someone like I woke up and I'm like, I'm just sad.
Yeah.
I'm just, and not like, oh, I'm sad. It's just like, I'm depressed.
Right.
I'm being pressed.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, just go to sleep. Like take a nap. Yeah. And you're like, sounds so nice.
Right.
And then I go, and I was sleeping like 14 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
And then I would wake up and then I would just be a mess. And then I'd be like, I don't know why I feel like this. And then I was smoking weed, but not in a like productive way. And then I'd feel good and I'd be able to eat because I smoked weed. But then I'd go to sleep and then I wake up and and then read this article and I was like, you know what? I can't, like I woke up one day and I was like, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
Like I need to feel happy again. And then, I went and got some CBD and I think it was like 10 milligrams. And I would have that in the morning and make a cup of coffee. I was like, okay, I'm going to create a routine. And it was paired with other things. So like create a routine. And then I was like, I'm just going to move. I didn't want to leave the house.
Right.
Like I would call off of work and be like, I can't come in.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, weird. And then luckily, like I have not experienced that since.
Yeah.
Like I've had a depressive episode, but nothing that was like, I knew I couldn't, like, I was like, oh, I caught this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, it also sounds like, again, out of that experience, like you took some tools with it and, I doubt you'll ever go through something exactly like that again because you've navigated that before.
Yeah. And I've done therapy since. So it's like you catch those things.
Yeah.
But I was like, every day. And then I'd feel just this little burst of energy of like, okay, I'm going to go do some sit-ups. I'm going to go just dance around in my room. I'm going to just, and then after about a week of that, I was like, oh, now I'm going to do a workout routine. And now I'm going to follow a video. And now I'm going to do this. And then I'm working more and I'm doing more. And then you're like, oh, we're back.
This is the embodiment of the term no zero days. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's like one of my favorite Reddit threads of all time.
Love Reddit.
This guy posted on Reddit. He was going through massive depression, like sounded very similar to how you described it, like just could not get out of bed. And the top comment was this guy that shared, I recommend everyone look this up, by the way. This is just an epic comment. But he shared this concept of no zero days. And basically the idea is no matter how bad things are, no matter where you are in life, do something every day that isn't nothing.
Yes.
And what that is can be a sliding scale. So for somebody who is literally bedridden with depression, get out of bed, take a shower, like whatever, or brush your teeth.
Yes.
Like give yourself the smallest thing.
Little hits.
Exactly. Yep. And then literally just the way you described it. And then maybe one day it's like, all right, I'm going to try to do a couple squats or a couple sit-ups or take a walk outside.
Yep.
Or I'm going to try to cook myself a meal. And you give yourself these little wins.
Those little base, like making my bed. I'd be like, I'm just going to get up and I'm going to make the bed and that's it.
Yes.
And it was just like, and I know there's that one Navy SEAL that was famous for saying this. And he's like, that's like the first battle of the day.
Jocko?
I think so. where he's like, make your bed every day. It's like, it's conquering the first battle of the day. And as silly as that can sound, I was like, no,
it's real.
It's so real. Like, it's I love making my bed.
It's discipline too. And I think discipline is another form of self-love. Where it's like, dude, you're not brushing your teeth because it thrills you.
Yeah. It's because you want them when you're fucking 80.
Yeah, exactly. It says your future self will thank you. And I think coming home to a made bed is like, that's an act of discipline that has an immediate reward, later on that day. And
I also like, I realized that, my space, if it's in order, I'm much more in order.
Oh, I empathize with that so much.
Oh, I love it.
I was very fortunate I have very little trauma in my life. I'm very lucky, but one thing that scares the fucking shit out of me is like, I'll have a dream where I'm living in a frat house again. Whew. Holy shit. It terrifies me, dude, because it was like, chaos. It's symbolic of this time of pure chaos that was then rounded out by what I thought was failure, and so like taking care of your space, man, is like, I cherish that. And it's like so important for me. It totally grounds me.
Oh yeah. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice. Yeah. Having a clean space, or like, have you ever like, I clean before I go on vacation, and then when I come back and it's like, everything's beautiful.
100%. Yeah, I actually have I invested in this lighting system in my house. I'm not getting kickbacks for this, but I should. It's called Oasis. And it's like circadian like light bulbs that you kind of put around your apartment or whatever, and they create this kind of ambient glow. And it's like you can choose the warmth of it, so it can be like really red or whatever, which I really like at night. But I have it timed so that when I come home, I met with like a soft glow.
Ooh, like so I love that.
Yeah. And in the winter, when I get home and it's dark out and my radiators are cooking.
Yeah.
Shout out Chicago apartments with radiators. Right? And you just met with this like warm hug and a nice glow. And it's just such a sensory, nice thing.
Don't you love being an adult and you can do this for yourself?
Dude, I love being a grown up. It's so fucking cool. It's amazing.
I agree. I think about this all the time where I'm like, oh my God, I'm an adult.
Being a grown-up fucking rules. When you get your shit together, because man, I haven't had my shit together till like 2 years ago, I feel like.
Dude,
but once it finally got there,
I'm getting my shit together and it's just coming together and I'm like, oh my God.
Dude, and then the world becomes a playground and you're like, I just get to play here with my friends all day. This is great,
Just hang out.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, Charlie,
Amy,
this has been so much fun.
Delightful.
I know. And obviously we could keep talking for probably many, many more hours.
Oh, I'm sure.
And because of that, I'll probably have you back on.
Would love that. This was so fun. I'm so proud of you for launching this thing. And, I think you're the perfect person for podcasts like this.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah. That means a lot. I'm still in awe with myself on doing this. I was like, I did it.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I'm doing it.
You took a leap. You're doing the thing.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie, I'm stoked to have you.
Stoked to be here.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Amy.
Thank you again to Charlie for being my second special guest on the pod. This was such a wonderful conversation and absolutely filled my cup. I love this. I hope that you guys got some laughs, some smiles out of it. And if you'd like to give Charlie a follow, he is on Instagram under Charlie_Blumenthal for his personal training, and for his music, it is Phase with the E as a number 3 and _. And thanks again to Beyond for letting us record in their beautiful space. I hope you guys do get to check them out. That is where Charlie personal trains. So go and get some knowledge from the guy. You know what I mean? Thanks again for listening. And as always, guys, I'm stoked to have you. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you on next episode. Hi, friends. Welcome back to episode 7 of the Stoked to Have You podcast. And as always, I'm stoked to have you. And I'm really stoked because today we have a special guest, my friend, Charlie Blumenthal. He's a personal trainer here in Chicago, a wonderful human. And today we're going to talk about the body, the brain, his personal journey, and music. I'm really excited. And we were also very lucky to get to record at this beautiful luxury private club that he works at called Beyond. It's along the Riverwalk. And we got to record in one of their rooms. It was just a delight. Everyone there, wonderful. And